Hello and good evening. Welcome to another film developing stream where we're going to have lots of constant agitation as I have 2 rolls of film to develop tonight. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for spending some of your Tuesday evening with me. Hopefully you're all doing well. So tonight's stream is the result of my choir rehearsal. Normally I do choir rehearsal on Tuesday evenings, but it was canceled tonight because the director has a bit of COVID, so we have the night off. So I was going to be doing this anyway at some point this week, So I figure, why not do it tonight? The film's been shot, it needs to be developed, and we're all good to go. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time joining me on a photography stream, I go by Brian J. French. I'm a professional photographer when I'm not at my day job. And if you want to check out the work that I do, let me just put that right in the chat there. That's the link to my card site. That's like the link aggregate site. So that takes you to my Instagram, my website, my Vero, Patreon, all the links, every single one of the links, if you want to get a sense of what I do. And tonight, I'm going to be developing 2 rolls of film, one medium format and one 35mm, but they get developed exactly the same way. The only difference is going to be time and the quantities of chemical that get used in the process. So, but tonight I'm going to start off with the 35mm. This little guy right here, this Ilford Delta 400 speed film. And then we're going to follow up with the medium format, which is Ilford Delta 100 speed film. And you might, so I don't know how many of you out there who are watching have ever shot on film before, but if you haven't, if you've never done so, it's really a lot of fun. It's not all that expensive to get into. You can find used 35mm DSLRs on eBay for $100, sometimes less if you're really good. You just buy yourself a few rolls of film and go to town. Go to town. If you shoot color, not a whole lot of places develop color anymore, like not 1 hour labs anyway. Usually those have to be sent out. Or if you're still lucky to have a photo lab in your town, then they can be dropped off there. Black and white you can develop right at home, and I will be showing you how exactly I do that. This is something I've done hundreds and hundreds of times, so we'll have some fun this evening, and I'll show you what goes on. And now entering the off-screen husband there. Hi, Ethan. But yeah, so what do you need to develop a roll of film out here in the presence of all of this light? You can use a darkroom if you are lucky enough to be in possession of one, or have a community darkroom. Some places do have them. A convenient college campus that still has a darkroom, or with what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to tilt this camera a little lower so you can see all the stuff we've got to play with. So to develop film right at home, you need first one of these. This is a film developing tank. It's a light tight tank. This one is specifically meant for 35mm. The other one I'm going to use, you can use 35mm or 120, which is medium format. This one is just small enough just to hold a single roll of black and white film. So inside we have our little funnel here. This is where we pour our chemicals into, and it goes into this tank. In this tank, we've got a couple of components. We have this, which is the little plastic film loading reel that we're going to load our film onto. I love these plastic ones because these are expandable. Right now it's set for 35mm, but we can expand it so that it can take a roll of medium format film. Shrink that back down. And it's you put a little plastic sort of column device right through here. That goes in the bottom, in the center there. There's a little place for that. You load the film, you twist the funnel back on, you put the cap on, you're ready to go. But you have to do all of this in the dark. You have to do this completely by touch. This is probably the hardest part of the entire endeavor. And so, how do you take film, how do you go from this to this? Well, I will show you exactly how to do that. So, good evening, low base guy. How are you doing? You live in the dark. So, I'm first going to show you, I don't do this very often, but I'm able to do this today. I'm actually going to show you what this process looks like in the light before I actually do it for real. It's because I have this roll of very dead color film, 400 speed Fujifilm, that was gifted to me. So it's a roll I didn't have to pay for, so, you know, we'll use that as the test. You bought a half-frame camera. What's that? So what do you use to change the film out in the dark and you don't have a darkroom? It's this. This is our film changing bag. So it is a double layered, light tight black bag. You've got these two areas. These are the sleeves where you put your arms into. And on the bottom, it's a zipper where you put all your components in, and you zip it up, and then you just put your hands in, and you take the film out of here, you load it into here, and you're good to go. A camera that takes 2 exposures per film, so it splits. Ah, okay. That could be fun. Instant diptychs. So, but first I'm going to show you how this gets done in the daylight. So what we need, missing components. So, obviously, you need all the components of your developing tank. Just put... Very nice, very economical. So, probably the quickest way to pry, and I had to make sure I'm like, don't pry open the actual film we're going to use. I'm going to put that off to the side, just to be safe. So you got all the things. So how do you pry open this thing so you can get it from here to here? A good old-fashioned bottle opener will do the trick. So I'm going to show you how this looks like in the daytime. So it's for the sake of this example, just pretend that all of these components, including these and a pair of scissors, are in this bag. So once everything in here, you put your arms in the sleeves here. Here's what you do. And remember, this is all done by touch. That comes off. Film comes out. Now you have this little leader that's on every roll of 35mm film. Medium format doesn't have this. Doesn't have a leader like this. So then you would take these scissors and you approximate by touch where the leader is. You snip it to get a straight edge. Normally, you'd be holding, if you're not wearing gloves, newbies absolutely would be wearing gloves, because the last thing you want is your fingers, oil on the fingers to get all over the film, and the last thing you want is to have fingerprints on your negatives, because it is a bitch to try to edit out fingerprints in post-production. But you'd either be wearing gloves or you'd be holding the film by the edge. You then take this end of the film, and you'd load it onto the spool here that's got the these little guides here. So you'd load it in like this. I'll just show you for example. Once it goes in, and then you start to rotate. And while it's doing that, it is loading the film from the film canister onto here. And occasionally, I just make sure that film's not going to get caught. Occasionally, you would feel toward the back here, because then you get to figure out how close to the end are you. And when we get close to the end, of a 35 millimeter roll of film, you'll notice that the film is attached to this plastic piece. So, what I typically do is I get to the end. As I get close to the end, I get right up here, just pry it right off, and just load the film the rest of the way. Once it's loaded, you take your little plastic column, put it in the tank, put the funnel on, screw it on nice and tight, put the lid on it. You're done. You can now take your hands out of the sleeves of the film changing bag, unzipper the bag, and you are ready to develop film. So that's what it looks like. That was just the example. Now I'm going to do it for realsies. For realsies. Yes, Ethan, for realsies. There's definitely nothing dangerous hiding in those sleeves. You've seen horror movies. Yes, yes, yes. So, let's do that. So I'm just going to take all this apart again. My demo roll there. All right, let's load this up nice and properly. Oh. There we go. All right. In. And the star of the show, my Ilford Delta 400. That goes all in. I'm going to zipper this up. Little Velcro tabs on here. I'm going to get my chemicals out of the way so I don't accidentally knock them over. That would be mildly disastrous. Delta 400 is my standard film. I use 100 occasionally, typically in studio work, but for most purposes, 100 suits my needs just fine. So here we are. Now we're doing this for real. And again, when I learned how to do this in high school, this was the most frustrating part of the entire endeavor. Because you have to do this completely by touch. I just have to find the film. There's the film. There's my bottle opener. There's my loading reel. All right, cool. Scissors, need those. Suddenly I get sucked in, and that's, well, there you go. Suddenly it's a D&D campaign. All right. Film is getting pried open. There we are. Film's open. Now, film is going to have, because the film is so wound up, it's going to try to fight you. It's going to try to curl back up on you and make your time here a hell. I just had the scissors. Where are they? There they are. There we are. Find the leader. We've snipped the leader. There we are. Where's my loading reel? There it is. Oops. Load that film into the reel, and away we go. Yep, we're loading. And now this should normally just glide right on. If you feel resistance, like obviously there's a tiny bit of resistance so that you know it's being loaded on. But if like if you feel like it's really fighting you, don't go further. Just untwist the loading reel. Take the film out. Start again. There's the end of the film. There we go. I just snipped that off. Just ripped that off. And we are good. Cool. Where's my little column? There it is. There's the tank. In the tank. There's the funnel. Put it on nice and tight. There's the lid. I did not get sucked into an interdimensional portal or get consumed by a monster. And there we are. There we are. Scissors out. Bottle opener out. Where's everything else? Oh, yes. What's left of the destroyed film canister. There we are. So, yes, I'm good. We're safe. We're good. So there we are. So now this film is ready to go. Just put this off to the side. So I've labeled my... If you're developing multiple rolls of film and they're different speeds, I find it helpful to label the canisters so that I know which film's in here. Because while the process is going to be the same, the difference is how long the developer sits in here for. So for Ilford Delta 400, using Ilford ID11 developer at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius if you're not using American Freedom units, then it's 14 minutes. And for the Ilford Delta 100, same developer, that's 11 minutes in the developer. So, all right, fine. I will hydrate. Thank you, bot. So, for consistency's sake, because I use basically, when I shoot film, it's exclusively Ilford black and white. I use Ilford chemicals. That is not a hard and fast rule. It's just consistency all across the board. I'm using Ilford film, might as well use Ilford chemicals. You can use Kodak, you can use Agfa, you can use whatever. A bunch of different developers out there. I just use all Ilford across the board to stay consistent. So I use 5 chemicals in this process, of which only the first 3 are absolutely mandatory. That's your developer, stop bath, and fixer. Developer does exactly what it says on the tin, develops the film, it reacts with the silver that's in the emulsion on the film. Stop bath stops the developing process entirely. Fixer gets rid of any undeveloped silver in the emulsion and makes it so that the film can then be taken out in broad daylight and not get ruined. Those are the three required chemicals. The other 2 I use just to speed things up. The first is Wash Aid, which is just a chemical that I use that removes any residual fixer still clinging to the film, which makes my final rinse time much quicker. And then the last chemical I use is Ilfotol, in which, if you've watched me develop film before, if you're familiar with the concept of using jet dry in your dishwasher, jet dry prevents water spots from forming on your dishes, on your glasses, as your dishes dry. Ilfotol is basically the same thing, but for film. It keeps it so that water spots do not form on your film, which is a good thing because, again, like fingerprints, water spots are a bitch to edit out. So, that's we are basically set here. So before the stream started, I prepared my chemicals, and they are all at temperature. They are all hovering between 68, 69 degrees. So we are pretty set. So you can develop film at black and white film at a range of temperatures. I think it's between like 59 degrees and 76 Fahrenheit. But if you are using if you're using temperatures that are not 68 degrees, then you have to do a conversion. And Ilford provides a conversion chart on their website. I don't know what the math is off the top of my head, and so I've just memorized what the times are at 68. So they're at temperature, so it's 14 minutes for the first Ilford Delta 400. So here's my developer. Now, developer and fixer are clear chemicals. The only that's why I've labeled my canister, my containers here, my measuring containers. I have dev, stop, and fix. But also, the way if you have unlabeled measuring cups, then the easy way to tell which is developer and which is fixer is to smell them. They're not toxic. Developer has no scent. If you can smell developer, it has gone off and it needs to be replaced. Fixer smells like vinegar. It isn't, but it has a very, very strong vinegary smell. And Stop Bath looks like a very, very dehydrated person's piss. So, all right. I have yacked along. The developer develops and the fixer handles illegal or morally dubious tasks such as bribing officials, covering up scandals, or dealing with law enforcement. Oh, so what's his face? The Tantrum Yams fixer. All right. So again, we're at temperature. We're starting with developer. 14 minutes. That's going to show up on the clock in just a second here. Well, before I pour, let me just make sure I've got my timer. There we go. Okay. All right. Away we go. Once this process starts, you are committed to seeing it all the way through. And then we constantly agitate for the first 30 seconds. This will cover the film in the developer. All right. And away we go. Ooh. Let me fix the webcam a bit there. And then we constantly agitate for 10 seconds at the top of every minute. So we're coming up to the first minute here. Okay. While that's happening, I am going to get started on getting my rinse water ready. And rinse water should ideally be at the same temperature as all your other chemicals. again, in the name of consistency. So I'll be checking every so often what that temperature is. But yeah, this is how it starts. So anybody has any questions on how this all works, just fire off in the chat. I will be more than glad to answer them. The reason for the constantly agitating is so that you keep the developer moving, so that it doesn't sit in one place, so that all the parts of the film, the entire roll, is constantly getting fresh developer, because the developer will get tired the longer this goes on, and it will lose its potency. That's already almost at 68 already. That's at 67.3, so if I just give it the tiniest little nudge. Being constantly agitating is my specialty. Yes, well, we all have our talents. So the two rolls that I'm developing tonight are actually test rolls, this one in particular. So couple months ago, I was given an old 35 millimeter film camera, 35 millimeter SLR, a Canon AE1, which was a line of cameras that was made between 1976 and 1984. And I decided I had to put it through its paces. So I shot a roll of color film, which I have since gotten developed and have scanned, and then I shot a roll of black and white, which is what this is, and so I'm curious to see what the results are. The color film was shot in a rose garden in the city of Schenectady, New York. And the black and white roll, this roll that I'm developing now, was shot in a historic cemetery, also in Schenectady, Vale Cemetery, where I've done photo shoots before. So if anything good comes out, we will have an art stream in which you will see me edit these. Oh, rinse water is already perfect. It's already at 68. All right, cool. Nice. While we have some seconds here, let's give a shout out to Low Bass Guy over here, who is an excellent photographer and is the creator of the web community on Discord. So feel free to plug the Discord, sir. It is a community of all sorts of creatives, mostly photographers that I've seen so far, but definitely other creatives as well. And it's a really good group. It's a really good group. I'm glad to be a part of it. There you are. There's the link to the Discord and the Twitch team. Lowbase does a lot of close-up animal photography, reptiles and insects. Really good stuff. Make sure my temperature, 68, still good. And while we have that plug there, I will share a plug of my own. So I do have a Patreon. It's small but loyal, but it brings in enough for me to keep making work. So something I do on my Patreon, if you are feeling generous, at the $5 per month tier, if you subscribe, you get a physical print, a photograph, mailed to you every single month. One of my images. It's an image of my choosing. It could be anything. It could be a cemetery image. It could be some architecture. It could be nature. It could be one of my nude works. It's anything. Anything goes. So if there are lesser tiers, of course, anyone who subscribes gets the image, the monthly image, but as a digital version instead. But $5 and up gets you a physical print starting at 4x6 and larger sizes the higher you go. So, and the link is right there in the chat, patreon.com/bjfrenchphoto. Within the last month or so, I've been doing art streams over on another streaming platform called Picarto. And the reason I stream there occasionally is because I do a significant amount of nude work. And Twitch frowns on that. Twitch frowns on the human body in any form, you know. So, especially nude. So, Picarto does allow streaming and creation of NSFW work. So from time to time, I go there, and so I've been working on edits from my most recent shoot. And there's going to be upcoming, I think, one more stream. I've already done 2 streams editing of the latest shoot. I think there's going to be one more. And if you want to know when I'm streaming, I do post my stream schedule over on Blue Sky, which, again, link to my Blue Sky is in that card, on that card page. Alright, enough shameless self-promotion for the time being. We have film going on. This is the first of 2 roles I'm developing tonight, so... Thank you for the reminder. And since I am not a Twitch affiliate by choice, if you like what I do, you can give me a follow. Or again, if you are feeling generous, there's a link. It's on your screen there. It's to my PayPal. If you want to drop a little something in the tip jar for me. Any money goes right back into my photography, So we're coming up near the end here. We're about under 4 minutes. So the next step in this process is the stop bath. And the stop bath is very quick. It's, 30 to 60 seconds. It's just dump the developer out, put the stop bath in, constantly agitate for, again, 30 to 60 seconds. That stops the developing process dead in its tracks and gets us ready for the next step, which is the fixer. And for those of you joining me, thank you so much for spending some of the fix. Yes, seems like the fixer would dump the developer in the trash for talking to the. I mean, you're not wrong. Hey, you got a problem? Thank you for spending some of your Tuesday evening with me. I do very much enjoy the pleasure of your company, so thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you're learning something out of this. Okay. Oh, we got a minute and 40 left, so I'm going to get the fourth chemical ready, which is the wash aid, which will remove any residual fixer from there. That's in the bag. Is it? No, it's in the bathroom. Wash it. Final minute of part one, at any rate. I'll just get the last two chemicals out just so I can have them, because I will need them for the second roll, as well as the first. Alright, we are getting ready here. So I'm just gonna turn my back to you. I just took the lid off. It won't hurt it because the funnel is on. It's still light tight. 3, 2, 1, and good. Now I'm just going to pour the stop bath right in. And I don't usually keep a timer on this. I'm just invert it about 15 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. So now we're just going to pour the stop bath out. Just going to rinse off the lid here. Okay. Next we move to the fixer. And that has been sitting here, so that's also at 68 degrees. Yep, still smells like vinegar. If that had been if that was odorless, I would have just ruined the film. Well, I would have ruined the film right at the first step, so. All right. And fixer, we treat like developer. Constant agitation for the first 30 seconds. Ooh. I think I put a little bit too much chemical in it. Some of it is leaking out, but that's all right. Now my whole kitchen's going to smell like Fixer for a bit. That's all right. Okay. Let's get the wash aid ready. While the wash aid is going, let's see, my rinse water is getting just the tiniest, well, it's hovering between 68 and 69. That's not bad. That minor of a difference is not going to matter. So Fixer does have a range. It's 2 to 5 minutes. I just freshly made this Fixer today, so I could probably go toward the 2 to 3 minute side, but I've just done 4 just as a general, you know. So as I said, this is the third of the mandatory chemicals. After this point, after the Fixer is done doing its thing, you can just let this run underwater for like 15-20 minutes and be done. But usually, you know, I'm pressed for time, or if you're in a place in which you pay for water, you might not want to have that thing running for 20 minutes. You know, especially if you know if other people living in the house is shouting, "Hey, could you stop it?" So what's going to happen after this? This is going to get rinsed for 1 minute as an initial rinse. Then this wash aid is going to go into it, and I'm just going to be constantly agitating that. That gets the residual Fixer off, and then it goes for a final rinse for 5 minutes. That's all. 5 instead of 20. I'll take it. Also, great for when I was in college and, you know, was developing film between classes. Alright. I'm going to hit this, so we're a little bit, we're at 65, so I'm going to hit this up with my film warming, my heat gun. This is not a hair dryer. This is a film heating device. So I'll heat that up while the film is going through its first rinse. All right. So let's get this off. Step 3, that. Okay. So normally, if I was developing a ton of film, this is the only chemical in the process that is reusable. So when I used to when I was in college, I would then take this used Fixer and I'd pour it into a used Fixer jug, and it would get used as Fixer to make photographic prints. Also, Fixer has silver in solution, and if you developed enough film, you could legitimately extract silver out of the Fixer. As I said, I'm going to heat up this, there'll be some noise here. My apologies. out. So its first rinse. So this will go in for about 2.5 to 3 minutes. Yeah, we're about at 67 degrees now. That's fine. That's fine. So again, this is the wash aid. This is the part where you work out your arms. This is constant agitation. Constant agitation for 2.5 minutes. But yeah, this is what you do when you're developing film. It's not a very instant process, shall we say. So while this is all cycling around inside, it's getting nice and foamy, almost like soap. And then after this comes the second to last step, which is the final rinse. 5 minutes. And then it sits in that wetting agent, that Ilfotol, for 1 minute, and then we're done. And then we'll get ready for the second roll, in which I'm going to basically repeat this process. All right. Let's get the timer off and the wash aid. And now step 6, final rinse. It's just going to sit here for 5 minutes. And as you can see, that gets very foamy, as I said. And normally, when I'm not developing film live, I usually do this in one of the bathrooms in the house. So when you're doing this in like a white sink, sometimes there's a slightly purple haze that comes off, and that's the rest of the rest of the fixer. All right. Now we just stick this under 5 minutes, and we just let it do its thing. In the meantime, I'll do a little cleanup. is my Ilfotol. There it is. All of these glass jugs are labeled, so, and to make sure that I remember which is the last step, I actually have it labeled. Ilfotol, last step. Because 4 out of these 5 chemicals have no color. It's like, developer is odorless and no indication of what it is. Stop bath is yellow. Fixer smells like vinegar. Wash aid foams up. Ilfotol does have a little foaming action in it, but Ilfotol you don't constantly agitate. You just pour that, and you just pour that in and just let it sit for a minute. This final rinse that's actually happening, I'm going to be doing this with the other tank. At this point, the fixer's already done its thing. It is safe to open that lid, and take the funnel off. It's safe for the light at this point. So you can let it rinse like that, or you can just open the lid and just let the water cycle through. Doesn't matter. In the meantime, this is the advantage of preparing beforehand. I have my chemicals ready for roll of film number 2. So we've got our developer, we've got our stop bath, we have our fixer, always smell it just to make sure. Oh yeah, and the star of the show, our medium format film. So that's coming next. I sadly actually just my name is a Zoom meeting. They're gonna have to deal with me in my, because I'm not dressing up. Fair enough. Well, thank you for stopping by. Thank you so much for the company. So have fun with your Zoom meeting, and I will see you pretty soon. Catch you on Twitch, my friend. So we got that going without that going. Oh yes, it might be a very good time to get these on. Because what's going to happen is once the film's all done and I take it out of that tank, I have to race upstairs and put the film on my my drying hanger. And I put these on because the film is very, very vulnerable. It's wet, which means the emulsion is wet, which means, again, not wearing gloves means, you know, increase. If you get a fingerprint on there, it's staying there. So yeah, my chemicals for the medium format are at 65.5, so I'm going to have to hit all of them. My developer, my fixer, and my stop bath. I'm going to have to hit it with the hair dryer for a couple of minutes after I come back down. Alright, just about done on the final rinse. Excellent. We'll just give that a couple more seconds. And then we'll do bloop, bloop, bloop. I stop. All right. Okay. So as you can see, the lid's off. It's perfectly safe at this point. So now I'm going to take my Ilfotol, and I'm just going to pour it, and you only pour just enough to cover the reel here. There we are. And we'll do that for 1 minute. And then after this, we're going to see what we got. And then I'm going to run upstairs. And also take a little bit of a break while I set up and prepare for the next roll. I'm going to actually leave that sink running because I have a second roll to play with. Yeah. So from beginning to end, so let's see, 14, 15, 19, 20, 22 and a half. See, about 30 to 35 minutes for a single roll of film. All right, that's done. Pour you out. And now the moment of truth. Do I have a roll of film? Or do I have crap? Let's find out. So there we are. A dimension not of sight nor of sound, but of crap. Let's see. Oh, good. We have exposures. We have exposures. I see dead things. So, yeah, we've got exposures. I'm going to find out how well those came out. But I got to race this upstairs. So, we're going to take 5, and I will be back shortly. All right. Let's get my timer off here. Bloop. You have to make those noises or it doesn't work. All right. Just want to see how my film is getting on here. My chemicals are getting on. I hit them with a blast from the the film heating device, and not the hair dryer that it absolutely most certainly does not look like. So, Ilford Delta 100 speed film. Again, same process we're going to use, just like the 35 millimeter. The only difference here is that it's because it's a different film speed, Ilford Delta 100 as opposed to 400. And so the developer time, instead of 14 minutes at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, it is 11 minutes. And the reason for that is because there's less silver in it. The grains of silver in the emulsion are finer, and so it doesn't need as long in the developer as your more lower speed films, your 400, 800, 3200, and so on. So I am going, so this timer that I have on the stream here, it's 14 minutes, so I'm just going to let that run down, and when it hits 11, that's when we're going to start this, which in the meantime, so let's just get that going. I think I will give this another very quick blast because we're just about at 68. Like 30 seconds or so. That should be good. Yeah, they're all there. Cool. So we'll just let that do its thing, and then when that thing gets to 11 minutes, we will begin roll number 2. So medium format, it's a larger film than 35 millimeter. It's about almost double the width. And up until the 1960s or so, medium format film, also known as 120 film, that was the standard for photography. For amateur film, 35 millimeter was used pretty much exclusively as a Hollywood film stock. 35 millimeter did not get popular until the 1960s, and then that became the standard. But both 35 millimeter and medium format are still very, very readily available. So, but aside from the developer time difference, the process is exactly the same. Oh, the other minor difference, obviously, it's because it's a larger film, it needs more chemicals. The developing tank that I used for the 35 millimeter was about 11 ounces. This is 20, so. All right, let's get ready. Let's get ready to go. Have my developer. Yep. No smell. All right, here we go. Same thing. Shut the lid. Constantly agitate this for 30 seconds. Same process. Exact same process. And then 10 seconds at the top of every minute. Okay, let's get our rinse water back going there. How is everybody doing tonight? A little quiet on the stream, but that's okay. It's fine, I talk to myself quite regularly too. No shame in it. According to Twitch, I have one viewer at the moment, and if I think I know who you are, and if I know who you are, well, thank you, and I love you too. And of course, as always, all of my streams wind up on my YouTube channel, because not everyone can catch these streams live, and Twitch changed the rules on how long streams stay up for. They used to stay up for 2 weeks, now they only stay up for a week. And so these go up on Twitch usually 2 or 3 days after they go live, so that you can always come back to these whenever you like. And the link is in the chat there. So you can have me whenever you like. How is my rinse water doing? Oh, we are perfect. We're doing good. I do miss the days when I used to have access to a college darkroom, and all the sinks all had thermostats, so you could just set the thermostat 68, get 68-degree water come out. It was beautiful. Now at home, I have to play guesswork, depending on the faucet that I use. 1 micrometer could mean the difference of like 5 degrees or more. So the film will dry overnight, and then I will scan them in tomorrow. And I use an Epson Perfection V800 scanner. It is a flatbed scanner that is capable of scanning negatives at very high resolution. Which then I will use Affinity Photo to edit them. 5 minutes to go. Just do a little quick check. Did I get the... No, okay. Just doing a little quick check. Okay. All right. It is just going to be about time for a photography fact very soon. I don't know why the bot didn't trigger to tell me, hey, you should do a photography fact. So I'm going to take matters into my own hands, damn it. So today's fun photography fact is that the first aerial photographs no longer exist. So there was a photographer who went by the name Nadar. I'm not going to attempt to, well, okay, I'm going to attempt to pronounce his actual name, but I'm going to butcher it. Gaspar Felix Ternachon. Again, nice butchery there. Captured the first aerial image in 1858. He was a French inventor. Nadar, as he was otherwise known, was a balloonist who frequented the heights above Paris. He took his camera on one trip, and sadly, though, the images no longer exist. That may have been before the invention of photographic fixer. Yeah, I think that was because I know fixer was invented by Sir John Herschel. And he was also the man who invented the blueprint. I don't remember if he was the first one, not off the top. I don't remember if he was the first one, if he also invented cyanotype photography. But it sounds right. I think it was him. Alright, we are in the last stages here of the developer. So once again, developer is going to come out and we're going to just pour the stop bath right into it. That's my time looking, alright. I want to make sure this gets the full 11 minutes. Okay, let's dump you out. All right. Slap the lid on you and we'll do our usual 15 inversions. 1, 2. Good evening, Mr. J. Ranzella. How you doing, sir? Seven. Nice of you to stop by and join me for a little constant agitation. 1, 2. I am doing well. Been very busy of late. I mean, that's just the story of my life. But so far, so good. Alright, one more. That was probably more than 15, but whatever. Still works. Not gonna hurt it. Alright, change you out. Bloop. Bloop. Alright. Fix her in. Alright. And again, just like the developer stage, constant agitation for the first 30 seconds, and then 10 seconds at the top of every minute. And then we will do first rinse. So this roll of film also has dead things on it. So when I brought the Canon in, when I brought the Canon with me to the Rose Garden and also Vale Cemetery, I also brought the Pentax, the medium format one, with me as well as a backup, because in case the Canon was really showing its age, I want to at least have something. Because the Canon, the AE1, is a fully manual camera. There's no autofocus, there's no automatic film advance, none of that. None of the modern quality of life features that's standard on cameras now. So which, when you're nearsighted, can be a little bit of an issue. I kind of sort of heavily rely on that autofocus. And even if I, on my Pentax, even if I chose to, or any of my more modern cameras, even if I chose to even go into use manual focus, the camera has the good sense to give me a beep when it is in focus. The AE1 does not. Such is the way of art. Unexpected and wonderful things can and do happen. And I know you have been keeping busy yourself. I do read your Patreon posts, so I know you've been hard at work. While we have a second, let's give a shout out to Jay Renzella. He is an excellent artist, printmaker, woodcut artist. Go follow him. He's amazing. I have been very, very remiss in catching his stream because my Monday evenings are just okay. Monday's my busiest day of the week. All right, first rinse. Monday is my day of the week when I'm basically on from 8:30 a.m. to about 10:30 at night, because I go right from work to piano lessons, and then every other week therapy, and then that is my board game night. Let's get the washade ready. Stay hydrated. So also coming up in my world as far as photography stuff is going, as I mentioned earlier, I'm probably going to be doing one more Picardo stream with the shoot, the Sapphic themed shoot that I did back in August. So that's going to be coming up. I'm going to be doing an art stream with whatever comes out from these rolls. So that's coming up. I also have a photo shoot, another photo shoot coming up, two of them actually, with my good friend McKenna for the first time in a year and a half. So I went from having basically nothing, no new work for about a year, to suddenly having all the work, and it's nice. I'm not complaining. All right, washade. All right, it's time for that arm workout again. For the next 2.5 minutes. There we go. Constant agitation for the next 2.5. Are you fully closed? Yeah, you are. Yeah, I have done most of the edits already on the Sapphic shoot. The only I've got a handful of the color ones left, and then the roll of black and white that I did for that shoot, and then I've got the rolls that I'm developing tonight. I'm also going to be on the Artist Together raid train on Saturday, October 12th. Formerly known as Artist Back Alley, so I'll be doing some manner of photography on that raid train event. That'll be right here on Twitch, where I and six or seven or so other artists will be on that particular train. I've got an afternoon slot. I think it's an early afternoon slot. So I should lead a film-based aerobics class. Do one in the style of the dearly departed late Richard Simmons. Sweating to the oldies while doing Constant Agitation. Agitate those arms, ladies! I will hydrate in a second, bot. I'm a little busy at the moment. But yes, you get your arm workout here. Although it's coming to an end just as quickly as it began. Now we go to the final rinse. 5 minutes in the drink. There it is, nice and sudsy. Pour you out. Oh, I can definitely see some of the purple haze on that. Alright, I said I was going to do this in an open tank this time, because I didn't do that for the 35 millimeter roll. So yeah, I mean, once it's had its turn in the fixer, this is what we can do. And away it goes. Five minutes. 5 minutes till the end of the sale. God, my hands just absolutely reek of film chemistry. It's beautiful. It's like I'm in high school or college again. Slight pro tip, though. Some of these, I mean, these chemicals, again, they're not toxic. If you happen to drink some, you might have a little bit of a bad time, but it's not, life-threatening or anything like that. But some people do, if they have really sensitive skin, there can be some mild skin irritation. So if you decide to do this, then, maybe wear some rubber gloves. I have just been doing it for so long. I've been doing it since 2003. It's like, all right. At least I don't sweat the stuff. That'd be a bad day. It's all cleanup that I will be doing shortly. Because stream is going to be winding down because that is the second and final roll that I'm developing tonight. But my next stream will most likely be this Friday evening, when I resume playing the current game that I'm doing a playthrough of, which is Hollow Knight, one of my absolute favorite Metroidvania-style games. So hopefully you'll join me Friday evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that. And then I'll probably wind up doing some art stream next week, because, again, the night was like a chocolate bunny, dark and hollow. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting. Quoth the chocolate bunny, "Quack," because it's the Cadbury bunny. We're still moving along. Minute and a half to go. We are getting into the spoopy time of year, which means I gotta hit up some cemeteries. I'm not taking a trip to New England anytime soon, so I need to see what I can find locally. Oh, yes, let me get my final chemical. Where are you? There you are. It's the final chemical. I amuse myself. It's a quiet night. Usually when I'm developing film, it's off-screen. I'm by myself in one of the bathrooms in the house developing film, so, you know, talking to myself is a regular feature. All right. Final rinse is done, and I can finally shut this off. Good thing I only pay a flat fee for water twice a year, otherwise I'd be screwed. Alright. So once again, we use our Ilfotol, it's our wetting agent. As I said before, it makes it so that we do not have water spots on our film as it's drying. So, bloop, bloop, bloop. And I will once again do the thing of where I put on the gloves. Good God, man, put on a glove. All right. Again, just enough to cover the film. There we are. And 1 minute. always the most exciting part because it always does. It feels like opening a gift on Christmas Day. Always. I know I use that analogy a lot. But it's true. It's absolutely true. It's like, ooh, what things are going to show up, or did I ruin it entirely? Fortunately, my failure rate is very low. All right. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Ooh. Well, that looks nice. I am very keen to see what that's going to look like after it's all scanned and done. All right. I am going to very quickly, once again, be right back while I go upstairs and hang this up. So, back in a minute. All right, my friends. Well, let me just take that timer off. There we go. That is basically it. So you watched me develop 2 rolls of film. We developed a 35mm roll and a medium format roll. And so, as I said, they're going to dry overnight. I am going to scan them tomorrow, and then hopefully soon I'll do an art stream, and we'll see what we got. These were the 35 millimeter roll was specifically a test roll. I was testing out the capabilities of the Canon, the old Canon AE1. So we shall see if there was anything good that came of that. So before I sign off, just some last second plugs there. Pixar, it didn't happen. Gee. Just some last second plugs again. If you are interested in my art, I go by Brian J. French. The link to my card page is just in the chat there. brianjfrench.card.co. It's the links website. So from there, my website, my Instagram, Vero, Patreon, Redbubble, all the links, every single link ever, and Patreon link is also there as well. So yeah, I want to see if there's any art streaming happening going on right now that we can take the audience to. If not, then I'll just call it a night. Who's up? Who's online? We can bring people over to Keeman, who is an illustrator. Let's see if he's oh, he just okay, so he just started. So good. So we're gonna do a little raid. We're gonna raid Keeman. So let me just get the raid in here. Give him a little love. And yeah, so again, thank you so much for spending some of your Tuesday evening with me. Hope you had fun. Hopefully it was nice and relaxing. Hope you learned something. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. All right, my friends. I'll see you this Friday for Hollow Knight. But I'll see you when I see you then. Until next time, good night. And joy be with you all, everyone. Be well.